Hey guys, RealImaginary here, and I'm back with Shannon today. Today, we are going to be talking about our New York trip. This trip was back in July. I vlogged that entire trip, so there are the 3 vlogs of the terrible ordeal that happened, but I didn't really talk about what really happened in that trip during those vlogs. This was part of why it was so terrible. Her Mountain Dew obsession.
You have some of my jiggles in there.
Awesome. We're gonna start from the very beginning of that 3-day ordeal. We were gonna leave about 7 o'clock in the morning. She had stayed up all night because she worked night shifts at the job she was at, so she just came to my house right after she got off work and was there about 6:30, 6:45, and our friend Dylan that went with us, she wasn't there yet. And around 7 o'clock, she still wasn't there, so we tried calling her, she wasn't picking up, she wasn't answering, so we're like, did she die? Like, we didn't know what happened. So I was texting her mother and I'm like, hey, is Dylan okay? She's like, I'm at work, so I don't know, but try calling the house. So we tried calling the house and she didn't answer, and finally, it was
like 7:10, 7:15.
It was about 7:15. She finally texted me, hey, I just woke up. I missed my alarm. I didn't fall asleep last night. I'll be there as soon as I can. So we didn't leave my house. Well, Dylan got there probably about 7:45, I think. And then we figured out she forgot her ID. Now, we were going to New York to audition for The Voice. So you need your ID to get in to match it to who you are. So they know that you're not just walking into these auditions.
Yeah.
So she didn't have her ID, which would have been about half an hour away from you at the time.
Well, I thought it was in my car.
So we drove to your dad's.
And I dug through my car for like 20 minutes.
At least. Dylan and I are digging through her car, and her car is...
It's fucking disgusting.
It's not very clean.
It was fucking disgusting.
So,
shit was sticky. It was so bad. Like, I remember both of you at one point, just at different points, going, what is this? Like,
had to wash our hands afterwards,
yeah.
But, you know.
It was so bad.
So, we dug through her car, could not find it. You called your fiance then, right? You called him and you were like, I can't find my ID. He's like, oh, it's here on the counter. It was somewhere like in plain sight where she had left it at home, which was like half an hour away. So we didn't want to drive half an hour to go get her ID. Instead, we would rather just drive to my mom's work, which she works at a bank, and get a photocopy of her ID.
Because I have an account at that bank.
So we decide to take this photocopy of her ID to New York with us instead of driving the half hour to get her real ID.
Mind you, every time I've got to like buy cigarettes or something, I'm using this photocopy of an ID.
We wanted to leave at 7. About 2 hours later, between 8:30 and 9, we actually left. And that wasn't even from my house because we had to go search for her ID. So we started to leave. How long was it supposed to take us to get there?
Right.
5 to 6 hour drive from where we're at because we're in Western Pennsylvania to New York City.
Yeah.
We made it the first...
We were 30 minutes outside the city.
We were half an hour away from the city. We just didn't have much luck in the beginning with this trip, or at all. During the ride, we stopped and ate a few times. We stopped at McDonald's for breakfast, and then we found a restaurant, which I don't remember where it was, that we had lunch. And then we were half an hour away from the city. It was like 4 o'clock whenever this happened. It just grinds my gears thinking about it. I was driving. It was a 4-lane interstate.
Which I'm so happy she was, because I kept offering. I'm like, are you sure you don't want me to drive?
I'm like, you have a photocopy of your ID. If we get pulled over, I don't want to give a cop a photocopy of your ID. And it was my car, so I'm like, it's only a 6-hour drive. I'll drive, and it'll be fine. So we're on a 4-lane highway. The speed limit was 65. I was going just under 70. And they were doing construction, but there was no signs that said, slow down, construction, no recommendation or anything.
Or like, hey, it's New Jersey. Good fucking luck on these roads.
Exactly. And there was no, bump sign or anything. And every place that there was, an overpass that you were going over a little bridge, there was probably about a 2-inch drop where they dug up all the asphalt because they were going to put new on top. We hit the first couple going around 65-ish, and I was like, ooh, well, that wasn't pleasant. But
hurt,
whatever, because it was a shock because there was no warning about a bump or anything.
Yeah.
Thanks, New Jersey.
Love you.
I hit like 2 or 3. The 4th one was really hard. And at that point, I had slowed down just a little bit because I was like, okay, these are pretty bad. So we hit one really hard, and all 3 of us were like, oh! Like, what was that? Like, did I break something? I noticed the car behind me flipped their headlights on. And I'm like, huh, wonder what that's about. And just then, we hit another one. I lost control. It kicked me to the left and then threw me across all 4 lanes of traffic because I was in the furthest fast lane.
Were we all screaming like, ah!
I'm like, I got it, guys, I got it. And she's freaking out. Thank God everyone else was paying attention enough. We didn't hit anybody. No one hit me, but I was thrown the whole way across all 4 lanes of traffic. And I'm like, I gotta get to the shoulder because on the left side there was like this much space, but on the right side there was a good amount. There was enough room for a car. So we get out. I'm kind of shaking because I'm like, I don't know what just happened. I don't know how much damage just happened to my car. I thought we just blew a tire. I want to assess the damage before I call my dad because I know he's gonna be pissed. And the back driver's side tire is like this.
Which if you've never seen a car, they're not supposed to be like
It should
that.
be like this. It was like this. It was literally touching the wheel well of the car. I'm like, well, that's not gonna move anywhere. So I called my dad. I'm like, guess what? He's freaking out because I'm 6+ hours away. We can't get a tow truck or anything because he doesn't know who to call in New Jersey. We get on the other side of the
guardrail. Mind you, I am this whole time talking to my mom, letting her know what's happening, and she's like, stay in the car. I'm like, I don't want to die.
Yeah, we don't want the same thing to happen to someone else and throw them into us.
So we're on the other side of the guardrail. She's like, is Beth's dad in the Freemasons? I'm like, I don't know why. She's like, they take care of their own. I'm like,
we're standing on the side of the road. I didn't put on my 4-ways because I didn't want my battery to die because that's just another thing to happen.
yeah.
We see a cop go by and we're like, oh, that's nice, you know?
Bad.
And then on the other side of the highway, we see a cop go that way and we're like, oh,
Bad.
that's nice. And then we saw a 3rd cop come by as we're like,
Bad.
oh. And this was only in like a 45-minute span.
And I mind you, like me and I'm pretty sure we're all going like this to the cop.
We're like, hello! I know the one time one passed, I was like, thanks, appreciate it. I'm like back and forth phone calls with my dad. He's like, I'm trying to get a hold of someone to come get you. Is there a cop that, I'm like, no, but 3 have passed and no one stopped. Finally.
Mind you, we've been sitting there for like 2 hours at this point. Am I correct? Like about 2 hours?
It was about an hour and a half. We have been
'Cause
sitting on the side of the road making phone calls back and forth with my dad.
Because I was wearing this exact shirt without this, and I had a tan line from it.
Yeah. Because there wasn't much shade on the side of the road. I was Googling different garages near where we were to see how far we would have to go. There was one that was only 0.7 miles away from us, but I couldn't move my vehicle, so I had to be towed. Finally, this police officer shows up, and we're like, praise Jesus, he's here to save us. He's like, don't move. We're like, okay.
Well, because we were all like, let's get over the guardrail, and he's like, no.
He's like, don't move, I will come to you. And we're like, okay. He comes out, and he's like, what happened? I'm like, what do you think happened? I hit this fucking bump, and it broke my tire.
We came into New Jersey, and what happens to everyone who's in New Jersey?
New Jersey roads suck.
Let's
Okay,
be
if
honest.
anyone from New Jersey sees this and they have any kind of authority, fix your goddamn roads.
Let's be completely honest. Nobody stays in New Jersey. Their cars just keep breaking down there, and they have to find a place to live.
My dad calls. I'm like, hold on, I'm talking to the cop. And my dad's like, I want to talk to him. I'm like, my dad wants to talk to you. So I just hand my phone to this cop. So he's talking to my dad.
By the way, he was super cute.
He was very attractive. So we talked to him for about 15 minutes maybe. He talked to my dad, and then he's like, all right, I'm gonna call a tow truck to come get you guys. I'm like, okay. So he goes back to his car and then left. And we're like, did he call a tow truck? Because he just left. He didn't say goodbye, didn't say there's one coming. He just said he was gonna call one, got in his car, and left. I guess he had been the one on the opposite side of the road that went past and saw us. He was going to work, and then came back to see what was going on. So we had to wait another 15 to 20 minutes for a tow truck. This makes it about 2 hours we're sitting on the side of a 4-lane highway with nothing to do and no one helping us. So this tow truck shows up and he's like, oh, they didn't tell me there was 3 people. Because he just has like the front cab that only holds like 3 people, and we're all bigger girls. We had to cram into this. Did you sit on my lap or Dylan?
Dylan sat on your lap. I had to sit really close to the guy.
No, I was on Dylan's lap.
I don't remember who was on
I was on Dylan's lap.
All I remember is I was super uncomfortable because I'm like this with a strange man.
I was on Dylan's lap. I remember because he hit a bump and I hit my head off the window. Because I'm like on the dash, you know, like, what's up? And he's like, I hope we don't pass any cops. I'm like, they won't care anyways. They'll just keep driving. We finally get to the garage. Thankfully, it wasn't that far away. My dad had called the garage. And so I show up and I tell them who I am. And they're like, well, the mechanics left at 4. And this was at like 4:30, so I missed the mechanics by half an hour. So I was pissed. It was Friday. They wouldn't be back until like noon the next day. We had auditions at like 11 o'clock the next morning. We had to be at our hotel that night. That way we could go to our auditions.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how can we get to New York? Because we're only half an hour away. And they're like, well, if you just go down to this stoplight and go left, there's a
gas station like right over there.
There's a gas station just down the road a little ways.
It's like walking distance.
And there's a bus stop there that you can take and go. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know, we can do that. So we gather up all of our stuff.
And
I'm not a light packer.
We're large ladies. Our clothes are large, and everything we need to take care of this.
Yeah.
Is also large.
So I have personally my suitcase. I have a duffel bag. I have a backpack, my purse, and a side bag. And what'd you have? And a cooler. I had a cooler.
I had a backpack and my purse.
And Dylan had a suitcase. I didn't have a suitcase. Scratch the suitcase. I just had the duffel bag.
No, you had a suitcase.
No, I didn't.
Dylan
Dylan had the suitcase. She had one on wheels. And then her side bag.
Mind you, this cooler's not on wheels.
No, it's one of those ones, and it's not like a big one. It's one of the ones with the top handle that you like press a button and slide the lid off.
Which, I mean, that's fine to carry it to your car and then to a campsite, but...
And so we're like, okay, let's do this. I'll take the cooler because it's mine, you know. We leave my car at this kind of sketchy New Jersey mechanic shop. We decide to walk to this bus stop that this guy told us about. So we get up to this stoplight, which was only like 100 feet away from the garage. Go left and start walking. And we're like, where the hell is this gas station? He said it was just a little ways down the road. So I'm checking on my phone to see where it is. And thank God I got my data boosted for this trip because I used almost all of it. I look up on my phone where this Exxon is, and we still have 0.6 miles to go. I'm like, how long have we gone? Because we have all of our stuff. And I'm trying to like haul this cooler and my bags and stuff. I think I gave you my duffel bag for a while. We got about halfway to the gas station, then you took the cooler for a while.
Yeah, because at first I wanted to be out. For some reason, I always have this thing where I'm like, I gotta show off how strong I am. So I had like half of your luggage and my luggage and then one thing of Dylan's, even though she had 2.
We finally get to this gas station and I'm like, I have to pee. When I have to pee, I have to pee. Like, there's no holding me back. Whenever we got to the gas station, I peed. I was like, I made it, you know? And we get over to the bus stop.
Dylan's like, I'm such a free spirit. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. I love this. Mind you, Beth is gonna have to spend like $500 on her car.
Yeah.
I have been carrying a super heavy cooler for about half a mile.
We're waiting on a bus to take us to New York.
Plus, mind you, the one state that our debit card doesn't work is fucking New Jersey.
Yeah. For some reason, the bank we go through, the one state in all 50 of the United States that we were in was the one that our debit cards did not work. Thankfully, my mom works at the bank, so she was able to get clearance for us to use our cards for the trip. Finally, the bus comes, and we asked one guy, he was wearing headphones because we didn't want to talk to the strange old man. We interrupted the guy with headphones. We're like, does this take us to New York? He's like, yeah. Okay, good. So we waited. And then we get on the bus carrying all of our luggage and everything. And the guy's like, we're going, like, we need to go to New York. He's like, okay. So we get in. It's pretty much just a straight shot, really, from there.
All I'm remembering right now from that is like you and Dylan got to sit together and I had to sit awkwardly by myself holding a cooler.
I didn't think I sat with Dylan because I had all my stuff. Oh no, I did sit with her at that point and we were like air conditioning because it was so hot and we had to walk like a mile with carrying all of our stuff.
So we finally get to New York.
Finally get to this big-ass bus stop.
And we get out of there. Mind you, I think I'm still carrying the fucking cooler.
Mm-hmm.
And we get out to the actual city. Remember Dylan being like, I'm such a free spirit, I love this, you guys. She carried the cooler for like 5 feet.
We're like, can you take the cooler? Because thankfully the bus station was only like 0.7 miles away from the bus station.
Just
thankfully. It could have been like 10 miles. So we're like, Dylan, can you please carry this cooler for a little while? We have both carried it. And so she's like, I hate this. I want to go home. You know? All of a sudden, she's mad. She's no longer a free spirit. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake, just give me the cooler back. So I took it, and we finally make it to the hotel. And it was like maybe almost 8.
It was so
and we were supposed
late.
to be there at like 4:30.
We were supposed to be there at like 2:30, weren't we? Because
somewhere, I don't know, but
so bad.
We were at least 6 hours behind our schedule.
We're like walking in what seems to us like the sketchiest part of New York, just lugging everything we own. Like, go ahead, rob us.
We made it. They're like, did you have a good trip? I'm like, no. We check in and I'm just like worrying that my card's not gonna work or something because we're finally in New York. We get checked in, we go up to the hotel, and we just basically die on the beds because we were so tired from everything that we just crashed. And I was looking up at my phone again, different places to order pizza that would deliver, because I'm like, we're not going anywhere right now. I'm exhausted because our plan was to get to the hotel and then go out and spend the evening out in New York because we were only like half a mile away from Times Square. We order this pizza, the guy shows up, and it was like $50 or $25 for one pizza.
And mind you, it's like, they're like, this is the best pizza in the city!
Yeah, they like talked it up really high, and it was the worst pizza I've ever had.
Yeah, and then
I eat a lot of pizza. Speeding forward to the next morning, we get up, and Dylan and I are getting ready for our audition, and she's like, yeah, I picked the wrong time, so she had to wait a few hours. She walked with us to the building that we were gonna have it at, because it was only like a mile or so away. That's why I picked the hotel we were at, was because the plan was to walk to the audition, thankfully. And so Dylan and I did our audition, and then we walked back, and there was a horse in the middle of the street for some odd reason.
I missed that.
But we get back to the hotel, and Shannon's gone, because she had went to do her audition. So Dylan and I passed out, like we are exhausted.
I'm walking to my audition. Never have I learned in my life, apparently, that you're not supposed to talk to strangers, because every single time somebody like in a cart or like a homeless man or something is like, oh, hello, and I'm like, hey! I'm by myself this time. This guy in a cart is like, where are you from? He's just yelling that at me, so I'm like, from Pennsylvania, like, you want my address? Come murder me!
After she gets back from her audition, we decide, let's try to walk to Central Park, because it was only like 2 miles away. We're like, 2 miles? Psh, that's cakewalk from what we've done.
We're not carrying our whole lives with us.
Exactly. So we decide to leave, and we never made it to Central Park because we got distracted in Times Square. We got distracted by all the little shops, because we found one that had all these like cool paintings and artwork and these different sculptures and stuff. So we just milled around all these little shops.
It was so awesome. I loved it.
So instead of going all the way up there, we just decided to head back because it was already starting to get dark. And then we were like, oh, look at the nightlife in Times Square. It's beautiful. Let's go back into our hotel and not experience it. So this is the third day. This would be Sunday. We decided we are going to make it to Central Park. And on our way there...
We should have just taken a cab.
We should have. On our way there, we got distracted again by Times Square. There was like this little county fair thing going on in the middle of Times Square. It was really cool. They had little vendors set up and little tents, and like the whole square was shut down. There wasn't cars going through or anything. Finally, we made it to Central Park, and we just sit down. That was the day it was like 100 degrees.
Do you still have that picture where you were doing selfies and there were these two really cute guys behind us?
There was like two really attractive men sitting back behind us, and I had got a selfie stick, so I was like, selfie, you know, taking selfies. And I was like, hey, Dylan, look, they're photobombing. So I took a photo, and they're like, in fact, it's right here. We just walked around Central Park for a while. Didn't really do anything there except look for a bathroom for a while. So we decided to head back because we were hot, we were tired. Yeah, we went back and took a nap and then went out for the night. And we went to Times Square and we're like, it's so beautiful, and actually spent some time in it. We had this guy tell us about this comedy thing that was going on. We're like, oh yeah, we like comedy. Let's go see these comedians. He was like, are you guys students? And we're like, sure are, even though we're not. So he gave us our tickets, gave us really shitty directions as to how to get to this place. So we're like, all right, let's go. So we started going, got completely lost and turned around because he's like, it's right beside the Hard Rock Cafe. We're like, okay, you know, we can find that. It shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
We get a little bit lost. We can't find the Hard Rock Cafe. And then I noticed there's this group of men singing. And the one's making direct eye contact with me like, oh, yeah, like singing, snapping. And I'm just like, problem? Another guy comes up. He's like, oh, hey, yeah, don't mind him. We're just practicing. And like starts talking to us. And I'm like, that's cool. I have somewhere to be. And this one and Dylan are like, oh, really?
Well,
There was 2 guys that started talking to us. And then there was like 5 other ones that was with them. But they didn't realize that. They're talking, trying to talk themselves up, and I'm like...
trying to get, like, directions from them.
And he's like, so, are you from around here? I'm like, no. Like, but do you know where their Hard Rock Cafe is? He's like, oh yeah, sure, we can take you there, and you want to go out to eat? I'm like, oh, we don't want to eat. We're trying to get to the place beside the Hard Rock Cafe.
And then they went off on a whole funny
They went off on this thing about how, like, oh yeah, so many people do that, you know, where... You're asking, hey, do you know where this Burger King is? I don't want to go to Burger King. We're trying to look for the McDonald's next to the Burger King. They're like, hey, why don't you come out to eat with us and hang out and everything? And I'm like, no thanks. We bought tickets for this. They pull me aside. They're like, please, can we go out with them? Can we go hang out? I'm like, no, you don't know these people. At the moment, they thought there was just the 2 guys. They didn't realize there was 5 other ones. I'm like, they're going to gang rape us. They're going to gang rape us and kill us. We're not going anywhere with these people.
And this whole time, me and Dylan are like, we're big girls, we can take them on.
Because they only thought there was 2. Finally, they give us directions, and we somehow walked completely past it, like twice. The comedians weren't bad, but they weren't great. So then we went back to the hotel, and the next morning we got ready, and we walked back to the bus station. And this part frustrated me the most. We bought our tickets. We're like, we need to go to this spot in New Jersey. We know exactly where it is. We know what we're going to. We asked the guy, like, how do we get to this bus? Where is this bus? Because our ticket
said like 46. So
yeah.
We went to bus 46.
That's all it said. It was just like one number.
Which, by the way, we were on the top floor, and this number was at the bottom floor. Mm-hmm. I carried the cooler the whole fucking way because we knew Dylan was upset with the cooler.
We finally find this bus. We wait in line for about 5 minutes, I think. We get up there, I hand the guy our ticket, he goes, this isn't this is New Jersey Transit. I'm like, where am I supposed to go then? He goes, I don't know, it's not here. I'm like, well, thanks then. I was pissed.
And then he just goes, you're welcome.
Oh my god. It took everything I had not to just like punch him in the face, but I knew I didn't need to get in that kind of trouble in New York City. So I just like stormed out of there and I was like, come on guys. And we went over and found someone else. I'm like, where do we go from here? And like, oh, clear on the other side of the building. So we were like trying to run there because we didn't want to wait too long. So we were pretty fast paced. I think I was kind of sprinting. Finally make it to this bus stop. We get on. The guy's like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. There's an X on there. He's like, I'll get you there. Thank God he was nice. We're riding and we're just sitting there like, I'm so tired. It's been a shitty trip. We're so ready to go home. Finally, we hear on the intercom like the Exxon stop. We're like, that's us. So we get off on the other side of this 4-lane road. And we're like,
1 way, 4 lane on the other side of the highway.
And we're like, great, we gotta cross this. Thankfully, there was a stoplight, so we were like pressing the button, like, let us go, let us go. We had to stop in the median and then go the rest of the way and then cross over to the Exxon where I left them with all of the stuff. I walked the like mile back to get my car. I finally get my car, I pay it, I cringe at the amount I had to pay, and I drive up and I'm stopped at that Exxon. I am looking at the 2 of them. I beep the horn and they're sitting there. I tried calling Dylan and she goes and ignored me. I'm like, I am your ride. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I go to get out and Shannon goes, hey wait, that's Beth. I'm like, get over here. She has been better since this, but at night she would wake up. She would sleep with a bottle of Mountain Dew beside her bed, and at night she would wake up and chug it. And it wasn't just like, oh, I wake up and take a sip. It was just chugging the Mountain Dew.
I drank no water at this point. So
No.
I was like constantly thirsty. So I was like, Mountain Dew, quench me.
So whenever we ran out of Mountain Dew, she started getting caffeine withdrawal headaches. But she would wake me every single time she did it. So we had my car back and we started back home. We stopped somewhere to eat and finally got back to my parents' place. And I was like, I'm never going anywhere again. So that was our New York trip. Sorry this video is as long as it is. There was a lot that happened those 3 days. But I feel like it was a good story. Nothing went the way we wanted it to. We were so excited for this trip. And then everything that could have went wrong went wrong.
By the time we got home, I was so sick and tired of her and Dylan, and she was the same way with me, and I'm sure Dylan was the same way with both of us.
Oh yeah. Like and favorite if you enjoyed, subscribe and become one of my imaginary friends, and I will see you next time with another video. Hey guys, Real Imaginary here. Happy Easter if you celebrate Easter, and if not, happy Sunday! Bitches be sippin', baba, bitches be sippin', baba, bitches be sippin' my tea. Bitches be sippin', baba, bitches be sippin', baba, bitches be sippin' my tea.